Okay, in this video, I'm going to read the instructions for your snow day assignment if school's canceled for snow. It involves reading a poem and then writing a poem. That's it. So I'll explain the instructions and then I'll read the poem to you, which might help. Okay, so snow day assignment, it's a sequel poem. So what you're going to do is read the Robert Frost poem that is below or above, depending on where I put this video and the instructions. And then you're going to write a poem. The poem you write should be 16 to 20 lines long, which is half as long as the poem you're going to read by Robert Frost. So it's going to be half as long, approximately. It's going to describe events that happen in the poem or immediately before or immediately after. One of those things. So it should be adjacent to or within Robert Frost's poem. It also it should take place in the same little world. In this whole poem, it's just a guy walking through the woods and has this encounter in the winter. That's what most of Robert Frost's poems are about. Not really, but his famous ones. And so it should be that same kind of thing, same situation, same setting, same little world. Okay. Also, it should be written from the perspective of one character that appears in Robert Frost's poem. So you can't create your own character. You're not creating a new thing. You're not taking the same idea and writing it in a different place or a modern context, anything like that. It's the same little world, same few characters. Okay. So the characters in this poem are the speaker of the poem, which I don't know if it's Robert Frost or not, right? But it's the speaker. The woodcutter, he finds a pile of wood that's been cut and left in the woods. So you could write it from the perspective of the person who wrote it, who cut it. There's a bird in the poem. You could write it from the perspective of the bird, personifying the bird. You could write it from the perspective of the pile of wood, if you want. You'd personify the wood pile, I guess, or the trees in the forest, or one tree in the forest, personify that, right? But either way, you should use some vivid imagery, some specific details that clearly connect your poem to the poem of Robert Frost's world, okay? Don't change the setting, don't add new characters, but that's basically the goal, okay? Hope this makes sense so far. I'm going to read the poem. Hopefully that helps your understanding of it, but here we go. The Woodpile by Robert Frost. Out walking in the frozen swamp one gray day, I paused and said, I will turn back from here. No, I will go on farther, and we shall see. The hard snow held me, save where now and then one foot went through. The view was all lines straight up and down of tall, slim trees, too much alike to mark or name a place by so as to say for certain I was here or somewhere else. I was just far from home. A small bird flew before me. He was careful to put a tree between us when he lighted, and say no word to tell me who he was, who was so foolish as to think what he thought. He thought that I was after him for a feather, the white one on his tail, like one who takes everything said as personal to himself. One flight out sideways would have undeceived him. And then there was a pile of wood, for which I forgot him and let his little fear carry him off the way I might have gone, without so much as wishing him good night. He went behind it to make his last stand. It was a cord of maple, cut and split and piled, and measured 4 by 4 by 8, and not another like it could I see. No runner tracks in this year's snow looped near it, and it was older, sure, than this year's cutting, or even last year's, or the years before. The wood was gray, and the bark warping off it, and the pile somewhat sunken. Clematis had wound strings round and round it like a bundle. What held it, though, on one side was a tree still growing, and on one a stake and prop, these latter about to fall. I thought that only someone who lived in turning to fresh tasks could so forget his handiwork on which he spent himself, the labor of his axe, and leave it there far from a useful fireplace to warm the frozen swamp as best it could, with the slow, smokeless burning of decay. I hope you enjoy that poem. I really like it. It makes me think, makes me imagine. Hopefully that happens as you read it, so you want to write a sequel or a response poem, an adjacent companion poem from another perspective. But enjoy it. Enjoy the assignment. Be creative. Write the poem. Submit it. Have a good one.